So let's take a look at solving systems with word problems, and these are the steps that I will be looking for on the test. So the first step I want to see is that you label your variables. You say x equals, y equals. Doesn't matter which variables you choose, you just need to define them and say what they are. Step 2, you will write out a system of equations, label your equations, equation 1 equals, whatever it equals, equation 2 equals. Step 3, solve the system using any method you like. Be sure you show your work. So you can use elimination, you can use substitution, or you can use graphing. And step 4, so show your solution, write out your answer in a sentence. The answer is, or the ages are. Just make sure you show your answer. Step 5, check your answer. Make sure that you did it correctly. So the first type of example that we might see are number problems. Number problems might be like this. The difference of two numbers is 6. Their sum is 30. Find the two numbers. Now we've done these type of problems before, but only using one variable. In this section, we are doing this using a system of equations, which means we need two variables. So I'm going to first define my variables. Let x equal one number, let y equal the other number. My next step is to write the system of equations. So my system of equations, and I label them. First equation, well, the difference, that means subtraction, of two numbers is 6. So I said x minus y equals 6. By the way, that means x is going to be the larger number because when I subtract them, I got a positive number. And then I have x plus y equals 30. That's their sum is 30. So I wrote my system. Now I'm going to solve the system. And in this case, I chose to solve this system by doing the elimination method because it was nice and easy. All I had to do was add them. So I get 2x, the y's eliminate, equals 36, divide both sides by 2, I get x equals 18. I am not finished. I have only found out what my x equals. I now need to find my y, so I will do that. I went back, I chose one of my equations. Well, I knew that x was 18, so I went back to equation 1, and I said 18 minus y equals 6. So I solved that, and I got y equals 12. So the two numbers are 18 and 12. That's where I write out my sentence. I use complete sentence. Finally, I'm going to check my work. I check it by saying, hey, the difference of two numbers is 6. Well, 18 minus 12 does give me 6, and their sum is 30. 18 plus 12 does give me 30, so those two numbers check out. So next we might see something called an interest problem. An interest problem would look like this. I have $11,000 that I'm going to invest. I'm going to invest part of it at a 4% interest rate and the rest at a 7% interest rate. My investments earn $680 of interest per year. How much is invested in each account? So I'm going to first start by defining my variables. So I did that. I let x equal the amount of money invested at the 4% account. I let y equal the amount of money invested at the 7% account. So I defined my variables. My next step is to write a system of equations. Well, I know that x plus y total is going to give me $11,000. And I know that the interest that I earned is $680. So the way I show that, defining my variables, x plus y is $11,000. Well, 4% interest, when I have 4%, that means 0.04 as a decimal. So 0.04 times x, that's the amount I invested at 4% was x, plus 0.07, that's 7% is 0.07 in a decimal, y equals $680. So now I have my two equations. Here are my two equations. I'm going to solve them. So I decided to solve this system using substitution this time. So I took equation 1 and I rewrote it so that I could have x equal to something. So this is how I decided to solve it. You can solve it however you like. But here x equals 11,000 minus y. I'm going to take where x is in the second equation, and I'm going to substitute for this x the x from equation 1 that I rewrote. So 11,000 minus y, where there was an x. I went ahead and I solved this out. I did distributive property here. and I got 440 minus 0.04y plus 0.07y equals 680. Now I'll combine like terms, so I combine those two y's, and that gave me 0.03y, and I subtracted 440 from both sides, and that left me with 240 on the right-hand side. I divide both sides by 0.03, and that leaves me with y equals 8,000. Well, now I need to find out what my x is. I used one of my equations from equation 1, which said x was 11,000 minus y. My y is 8,000, so I subtracted those, and I got 3,000. So there is the amount of 3,000 is invested at the 4% account, and 8,000 is invested at the 7% account. The way I can check these is 3,000 plus 8,000. That gives me 11,000. So that checks out. And if I go and do 3,000 times 0.04 plus 7%, which is 0.07, times 8,000, that is going to turn out to be 680. So that checks out as well.